Well, we just want to thank you. First of all, we want to welcome everybody to our series called Live in the Renovation Room, where we want to introduce members of the Renovation Room to our great contractors and business people and great people.
Yeah.
We This is something we started in late 2024. The group has just eclipsed 37,000 members. I think 37,400, and we continue on to
Nice.
grow. Yeah, thank you. So we just want thanks to great people like yourself,
Yes.
and we appreciative. So we just want to make sure to start introducing people more in this world we live in now. It's very digital. It's people don't really get to know each other that much anymore like they used to. So we want to do this to try to introduce the audience to our great businesses and contractors in the group. So we welcome you. We thank you for joining our business association. And
Yeah.
I'll be quiet and let the project manager take over.
No. So we definitely welcome you. It's a pleasure to have you be a part of the business association.
Thank
Um,
you.
because like I mentioned before, when I go live in the group, in our personal groups, it's one thing to market your business in a group, but then it's another thing when you're really live and direct and letting people get to see you and your personality and really, understand how you are, up close and personal. So I'm super excited to introduce the Renovation Room group to you. Miss Olivia Johnson, can you please tell us what you do? I know you wear many hats.
I do.
So
Well,
which one do you want to
fir-
tell us
which
about
one?
first? Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, as a believer, I do pastor a church, but real estate has always been a part of my ministry to me.
Yeah.
So I got into real estate because a few years ago, in my 20s, when I was purchasing my first home, I didn't know anything about purchasing a home. So I am very left brain logical. So I signed up for a 9-week course. And at the end of the course, the instructor said, "You're really good at this. You really should sell real estate." And that was the launching of my career. And I did it for a few years part-time while I worked bivocationally. I was at Jenner and Block in human resources for a number of years and went into full-time real estate in 96.
Okay.
And from there on, I went to my own business, my own brokerage, Olivia Johnson Realty, Gateway of Dreams. And here we are. And Gateway of Dreams was birthed because I just found that there was such a need for education.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about real estate, I know you might want to ask questions, so you might want to dip in and ask the questions. But for me, just going into real estate for the reason of being a place of integrity, being a place of safety, and being a place of knowledge. I just think it's just so imperative that we know what we're doing. And buying a property, especially a first home, is the largest investment most people will ever make. And it's really important that they know what they're doing. And if I can help them do it right and well, then that's my goal. That's what I endeavor to do. But I also have a generational wealth piece also that is a passion of mine.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you once again, we want to thank you for being a part and going to the faith piece. I actually was born and raised in the church, and I appreciate that part of you as well. So
Awesome.
we'll let this is about you tonight. So we'll let you and feel free to talk as much as you want. By the
Yeah.
way, we'll work our way in, but
Oh,
we find
okay.
your story more phenomenal and want to get to know you better for sure.
So the Gateway of Dreams Realty is because you said you wanted to educate people into buying when they're buying their first home, right?
That
And so,
was that was a start, yes.
okay. And so then you said you had a generational wealth piece as well. So can you tell me more about that as well?
Oh, absolutely. That is my passion.
Okay.
There are two purposes that set me apart from other brokerages because I never sell a house to sell a house.
Okay.
Always have a purpose for it, and I have to recognize what is the goal of the buyer. You know, some are buyers for ever one home, they'll stay there. Others want to build wealth. And what prompted me to really seek out generational wealth for us is because in 2008, I'm dating myself, but I've been in business a long time. But in the crash of 2008, the financial crash and then the real estate crash, I would always talk to our lenders, my lenders, and we knew that a crash was coming because they were allowing all of these 80-20 loans where no one they didn't put anything into, no, there was no investment. And there was only going to be a bubble at some point. It exploded, crashed. But I was in my car one day and I was listening when Lehman Brothers crashed, and then all of the big guys, they began to crash and burn. And then I said, oh my goodness, God, none of my investors, I thought of them one by one, all in my head. Nobody owns their property. They were talking about foreclosures here, foreclosures there. They were taking back properties, coming and going. And at that time, they didn't give you a year. They only gave people 30, 90 days and the like. Wow. And so as a result, I said, I've got to come up with a plan where I have to teach my investors how to speed up those payments so they can own these properties, and then it becomes the foundation of generational wealth, because it's really only ours once we own it.
Right.
Until we own it, and there's no mortgage on it, then it's really not ours, because the bank can pull it at any time if people can't pay for it. So as a result, what I did after that, I created a plan for my investors. I did a 15-year plan for them, how they could pay off their mortgages in 15 years. As a result, they would, the monies that they would save thereafter, they would just store it up for retirement. And it didn't matter how young or old they were. Okay. So, but what was interesting to me, what was so important to me, was the part about how to do this. And it does require discipline, but if you start it out the right way with generational wealth for us is a lot different than generational wealth for other folks. Some folks are born into it. We have to be the first ones to create it.
Yeah.
So in order to create it, there is sacrifice, but it works so well because what I did, I had to become the first one. So what my goal has always been was to make millionaires. And honestly, it really doesn't take a whole lot of property these days to have $1 million portfolio. That's just a couple of properties these days. That's for true. What the value is, and if you can get to the point where you pay them off. So what I ultimately ended up doing for myself, I bought my first property. Now I own my home, but I didn't own any investment property. I was helping other people invest and the like, but I didn't own any myself. Okay. And when I got ready to own it, I said, I need to own it. So I began to save money and the like. So fast forward, what money I did not have, and this was way before all these multi-family get rich quick, zero money down and all of that. I will say this, let me say this. You can buy property with zero down payment, but you cannot buy property with a zero cost. It's going to cost you something. You got to put down earnest money. It's not required in Illinois, but you get the leverage. Someone who puts down earnest money is going to be seen as the more serious buyer. So what I ultimately did when I was didn't have all of it, I mobilized a team of people that I knew, asked them, gave them a really good offer they couldn't refuse. I asked them if they wanted to invest, and then and understand the people that you would think I would have asked are not the people I asked. I was going to teach millennials. I was teaching single parents who got these exorbitant income tax checks that they would buy a car with, an old raggedy car, $9,000, $10,000. At that time, that's what their refund was. Invest $5,000 of that, and I'll guarantee you a 10% return. Right. Invest it for you, 10%. You couldn't find, at that time, you couldn't find 10% anywhere. You can't find that even now. However, so we wrote up we did everything legally and the like, and at the end of their period, they got their money back plus their 10%. And I was able to finish buying this property. They were not interested in owning property. They wanted to be passive investors. So I was teaching them real estate at the same time as I was able to invest. And then you say, well, that was for personal gain. No, it wasn't, because then I rented it to someone under market because I don't have a mortgage.
Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And
I don't have a mortgage.
How long did that take?
all I pay even now is taxes. And this is what the discipline part that I'd like to share. I like to share that it's really important that for me, I started it off deliberately. It didn't matter how much money I thought I needed. What we have to remember is that when we're investing in property or buying property or creating an additional stream of income, you don't have that income. So don't include that in your income. I never included that property in my income. So that means that every dollar that comes in, that rent that comes in every month, that goes into an LLC account. It stays there for taxes. It stays there for maintenance. I just had an experience, a perfect storm in one of my properties in Country Club Hills. It was, Sid knows about it. The thermostat went out on the coldest day of the week of that year, of this year in January. Thermostat went out, which means the heat didn't kick on. Water is all the way down the street.
No.
And I didn't find out till the next day. Nobody called. I didn't find out till the next day. Well, that meant pipes burst. But I was able to go into this account and they said, "You want to call insurance?" No. I went into my account and I just began to make payments, and it gave me a chance also now to update it like I wanted to do anyway. But and now I still get to write it off. That's what I try to teach, and that's what I really am really deliberate about teaching. Millennials and Gen Zs are not there yet, but there are some millennials. I've really been blessed to teach millennials who never lived in a house. Most single parents of African Americans that I have come in contact with, and that were raised by single parents, they didn't grow up in a house. They grew up in an apartment. It might have been a nice apartment. So they didn't know. So I gave them also the opportunity to earn and learn, and they were able to learn how to take care of a house. When we were remodeling one of these houses, I had the college students there, had some of the guys there, just some of the things that you all do. And let me just interject here. I am so thankful I've been in business a long time. I'm so grateful for the Renovation Room. I love this room.
Thank you.
Because it has helped me to build, it's helping me. It's an ever evolving team. But it helps me to build and rebuild my team of trade experts. When I needed HVAC, I found Sid. When I needed an appliance in this particular property, I found Derek. Whatever I need, I was able to find. And what's beautiful about it is that you're kind of not doing it blindly, because you read people's posts, you vet it well. I take my time, and I it's not always perfect, but you know what to do and you know what not to do again. And that's why we have admins. So if you have an experience, you can take it so people can check into it and the like. But it has made my life as an investor so much easier, because I have created a team. But even when one falls out or this doesn't work out, because they're 30,000 plus, and I don't hit all of those, of course, then I can always find another one and another one. Now, what I also like is that, for example, with Derek, if Derek referred someone to me, which he did, Maurice, who cleans carpeting, then that's half of my vetting issue. You know what I mean? Right. He's a man of his word, a man of integrity, showed up on time, showed up early, did what he does, disclaimed what he couldn't, made it happen anyway, and it just works. If he says he can do it, he can do it. And that's what I'm used to. I'm just real strong on integrity. I'm real strong on excellence, because the other thing that my job is, as my passion, is to be able to refer these people out to my clients. I manage properties for people, so they're calling me, asking me for electricians, asking me. Marvelous Marvin is one who did some really good work for us. And it just really, I just like the intimacy, the family environment that we have. Even though it's so large, because of the algorithms of Facebook, you kind of end up with the group that you're with anyway. So that's kind of how I got into it. Now with the generational wealth, what now I do is, as I teach people and educate them, I teach them first the principles of not disturbing that money. Because if you don't disturb that money, you'll have the money for maintenance. You don't want to invest and it's your last dime, and when something goes wrong, you try to figure out how to pay for it if you don't have to. And you say, well, how did you get like that to that point where you're a realtor? No, I went through some tough times because I had two incomes. When I bought my first home, I was married. After when my husband at that time left, then I had half an income. I had to rebuild. Everybody has to build at some point or rebuild. And the difference in winning and losing is you just don't quit. You just keep going, and you keep reaching out to folks. So generational wealth is the legacy that we create for our future generations. I have just but one niece, but oh my goodness, she has no idea how well she is set up. Even though she's doing her thing now, she doesn't have it now. I'm not even giving it to her now. Let her build her own career as she has and do her own thing. But then there's future waiting. And the only way to do that is you can't spend every dime we make. So for real estate, it's education as well as, so ask me some questions. I could go on and on.
No, you kind of hit all the questions that the answers that we're thinking. But I know you said you teach this class. Is it like online? And when do you offer these classes?
Well, I have actually done it both ways. I have done it in in-person space. Now that was of course pre-COVID. And then I have also offered it personalized to clients, just like we do via technology. I've had clients out of state and all of that. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be physically here, but you do have to be committed to being honest with where you are with your finances. And it's of course confidential, but you do have to own up to where you are, because a lot of times people will perpetrate that they're in a certain place and they're not. But you can be helped only if you just say, I need help in this area, or it may look like I've got this. I often learned years ago this saying, that mantra that is important to me. And my words are really important to me because that's my belief, a manifestation based on scripture. However, I often have said, I'd rather be rich and look like I'm broke than to look like I'm rich and be broke. So you don't always pass all of that information, what you have along, but it is in these settings that people do find out. It's important that we set examples and are not always in the grind of what we're gonna do, but I needed to own some properties to be able to tell them that they could.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I
love what you said, to go back and you touch on your I'm into everything. First of all, I'm sitting there taking notes because I don't want to lose any thoughts. But I love how you shared your experience with the Renovation Room, because when we came up with the idea 7 years ago, you are definitely one of the target type of person that I had in mind, as far as somebody that's out here, that's an investor, that has multiple properties and a network of people, but we're having a hard time, not a hard time, but wanted to scale their contractor network.
A hard time.
Hard time. Okay. You're right. So having a hard time, and what you shared and how you use the room is what I try to teach people. And we're gonna have ups and downs. We mediate things behind the scenes here and there. It's a lot better now than it used to be, for sure. But I love how you share with that, and I definitely thank you, because you definitely, the way you explained it, I'm like, yeah, she gets it. If somebody don't work out, you got other one, and you can, like you said, some of these people you have 5 to 7 years of data to look at in the group to see how they have been over years. Some of these companies, so kudos to you and thank you. Sure.
Absolutely. So, what else do you know?
I want to know how so when did you become is it a minister, pastor? How do we identify? Okay. And when did you start doing that?
I've been pastoring 31 years. I started in my 20s.
Wow.
So this is my second church, the second church plant. One was up until 2005, 2003, and then 2005 till now. We just celebrated 20 years. And I was just driving one time, and God told me gave me the name Generational Blessings. So that's where this integrates with generational wealth as well. It's just because I got it from the basis of the Bible. Even with what you all say about the group in Exodus 18, when Moses was trying to take care of everything, his father-in-law Jethro told him, "You're gonna wear yourself out. You better get you some help." So that's what all of these layers of help come from, and the hierarchy comes from. So we understand that so clearly. And if we can learn it and respect one another and be that person, in addition to helping folks,
Yeah.
I've got to be the one of integrity too,
Yeah.
because in my profession, there's a lot, and what happened in 2008, it weeded out a lot of
Yeah.
predatory folks, for real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
always say, if you survived real estate and lending after 2008, you're the real deal. But
Yeah.
even
Right.
in that, you might run into, just like I always tell folks, you run into a bad doctor, a bad lawyer, but you don't stop using lawyers, you don't stop using doctors, and the like is just really important. And for real estate, while I am there, it is really important for folks to, I think one of your questions asked, what was one of the, what advice would I give to folks who are interested in buying properties?
Yes.
Follow the map. If
Mm.
you're going to engage an expert, I don't try to tell contractors how to do it. I tell them how I want it.
Mhm.
And then I vet it
Mhm.
out. And what I don't know, I research. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to do your job. I'm not going to take the hammer out of your hand.
Mhm.
And likewise, I'm an expert in real estate. I've been doing real estate since the 90s. So
Mm.
I'm well versed in it. I
Mhm.
keep up with it. And how? Because I'm continuing in now as a managing broker. Managing broker is one who owns their own brokerage.
Mhm.
So that's why I changed it to personalize the Gateway of Dreams, Olivia Johnson Realty, because I was working for Coldwell Banker for many years.
Okay.
And after a certain number of years, your leads don't come from cold calls. Your leads come from your referrals. So the people who were buying properties from me in the 90s, well, now they come back to me. So I needed to restructure my business where I wasn't giving away my commissions from leads that did not come through the company. So where there are many things that we need to do and we need to pivot as is necessary, even now, as I will say, after COVID, things are different. So we have to pivot. We have to become always leverage out and always learn and always take classes. I have to take 24 hours by the end of this month of continuing ed because the laws change. Everything changes. I see that you posted information about the bill that passed about landlords and what landlords can charge and what they can't charge. It's really important that if you want to be a landlord, then you need to be willing to become educated about it and not just collect rents. Now, I will say about that what can also generate business for me is I had a client, as I said, I'm not a realtor that just tries to sell. People would probably tell me that you have got to be kidding. You just told them not to sell their building, so you just lost a deal. No, I didn't. I gained a client for life.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
client in Woodlawn about 2 years ago. She reached out. She was referred to me by one of my other clients. And she said, I want to sell my building. She had my condo. There's a beautiful 13-year-old condo in Woodlawn. I said, don't sell it. She said, what are you talking about? I said, Obama Library is right there. Hold on.
Mhm.
She said, I don't want to be a landlord. I said, I'll property manage for you.
Nice.
So I property manage her property. I take care of the tenant, help her screen the tenant. She has always had wonderful tenants, and she's just waiting it out.
Yeah.
And at this point, her value has doubled. That's
Right.
what I'm talking about when I teach people generational wealth.
Beautiful. Integrity.
Generational wealth can't be
Okay.
5,000. It's got to be where it's a massive difference. But you got to know the market, and you also have to be willing to walk the journey with folks and go to the end. And I don't do it for the money. I do it for the satisfaction of seeing that my clients are educated, because we know in the environment we live in that if we don't learn to help each other, we'd be cut out of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a guy that I don't know how well you know him. I probably shouldn't mention names because I don't know, but he's in the room. A brother who's building in Bronzeville, and he's always sharing who he had, who he used. So I reached out to it popped up Saturday, Simpler Vinyl, and I needed some flooring. So I had gone to flooring and decor.
Sean,
James
Sean
Turner, Sean Jones.
Jones. Yeah, that's my man. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've been talking to him
So he was
Saturday. Yeah,
showing
yeah,
off. He was introducing James Turner of
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Simpler
yeah.
Vinyl.
Simplifying.
And I just got my samples today. He sent me free samples, and they're local. But
Right.
I was already positioned to purchase from Floor Decor. I
Uh-huh.
am deliberate about my business, and I prefer to pour into our own, but not for color, for generational
Oh,
wealth.
well.
I
Amen.
want to help
Amen.
people build their business. If
Yeah.
I give my business to you, and enough of us give you our business, you'll be a millionaire. But you gotta be good. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta come through. You
Yeah.
gotta show up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's fun, man. Shout out to Sean
Yeah.
Jones and James Turner. I know we know them both very well. We had a meeting at this very spot when him and his partner first launched the Simply Vinyl idea, and he wanted to share it with the Renovation Room, and we partnered with him for some time to help him spread the word about it. But I love what you just said, because that's being intentional about us working together
Yes,
and the community aspect. And it's not always going to be perfect,
right.
but it's we see and witness a lot more when people don't. One of the things I used to, because I grew up, well, a lot of us grew up in communities back in the day that worked together. My community, we didn't have the most money, but we had our neighborhood fixing man. My great grandfather was a neighborhood handyman, and he
Got
only had a elementary school education from the South, but he was the one everybody came to get
yes,
furniture, their vehicles fixed, to get everything done. So I learned, I was
yes.
watching him, they called him Junior. So the community aspect is something I grew up seeing, and then it used to burn me up when people said that black people can't work together. I can't,
I know,
one of
right?
these days. So I don't like that, because I know, yeah, that's true in some cases and in some aspects, but for what I know and what this young lady knows, we know a number of us that love working together and seek to work
Yes,
together. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
So I love that you said that for
Yeah.
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I just saw Sean
Yeah.
Saturday.
When she said that, I was like, I think she talking about Sean.
Yeah, yeah, that's my man. He shares. I love that
Yeah,
brother. He's about to launch something that I won't speak on, but that guy's always sharing. He said me. Let me give a little story quick. I'm sorry, this is about you. But I was about to sell a property we did in Inglewood, and he was doing one a couple blocks north of us a few years ago. I had be quiet, buddy. I had my property. We had our
he
property
said
on the
I got an
market.
investment in
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we had our property on the market, and it was a little bit underpriced from what he was doing. So he said I was talking to him, and I told him what our list price was. I had just listed it. We had just listed it. He said, "Brother, no, wait a minute, no, stop. Come down here, take a trip with me down the street, and check out what I'm doing. And I think you're gonna want to add maybe about 50,000 to what you asking for." And lo and behold, I did that, and he was right. And that brother is a great brother, and like yourself, I love the sharing aspect for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you rebuild these communities. Because I grew up in Inglewood also,
Mm-hmm.
and Inglewood is sleeping it. They think now, but that land is being grabbed up like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the news, you wouldn't dare go near it. But if you're on the inside, you're almost too late,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I got all the infrastructure there, the
Mm-hmm.
lots and all of that, and they've got these community organizations that are fighting hard for it. And that's one thing that is important to me also, as part of my generational wealth teaching, is that don't give away grandma's house. Do not give
Oh.
away grandma's house. I
Mm-hmm.
remember on King Drive in Bronzeville, which was what now is Bronzeville, when
Mm-hmm.
those houses were dilapidated, gravestones and the like. They sold them for
Yeah.
70,000. People came in and put 100 in them, so that's 170. Sold them for 350 to 5 back to us.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Amen. Yeah.
Sold them
That's
back
the
to
truth.
us. And we just have to figure out how to finance, because there are ways to finance out there. Whereas perhaps someone in the next generation would have been able to fix it up and
Yeah.
keep it in the family. You cannot give away. I just got in the city for my mom. Our family house is still in Inglewood.
Okay.
And okay, they pay taxes. She pays taxes, all of this. Senior freeze is on, doesn't pay any more taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Good and well, but okay, the city has the roof and the porch program, $35,000 roof, didn't pay a dime.
Oh wow, nice,
Just
nice.
put a
Beautiful.
furnace in there 2 weeks ago. But what you have to do is fill out the information.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Yeah.
gotta fill out the information. And
Nice.
it's not a lot of hurdles, but it is a follow through. You know, they may come back and ask you for a piece, but this is documentation that you have anyway. So when a person is in that community, when I'm speaking of grandma's house, you might not have the money, but she or granddad, they may be in a place where they can get it repaired free from the city because they pay taxes all these years. There's just so many, and I hate to be all over the place. I'm just giving you a touch
No,
on a little bit of
you're dropping so
everything.
many gems. I think it's amazing because, like you said, a lot of times we don't know, and people don't know
We
what
don't
they
know.
are. You know what's out there. There's so many different programs that can benefit, but a lot of people, what it takes is a little bit of research, and most of the
Yes,
time we are too busy trying to do other things that we miss the research part. We don't get to do that, and so we miss a lot of opportunities. So I love the fact that that's something that you are really passionate about,
I am.
helping people with their real estate, as well as when they buy or when they get ready to, they know not to get rid of their home and
Don't
maybe
give
sit
away.
on it.
Yes, sit
Don't
on.
get
Just
ready.
hold it. Pay the
I
taxes
think that's
on it.
important.
Yeah. When those communities are dilapidated, pardon me, the taxes aren't high anyway. Pay
Yeah,
those
true.
few $100 worth of taxes on them, and then make sure now that property, because of properties in. I remember a couple years ago they said that where my mom lived, it was worth $13,000. Now it's worth $134,000 just by sitting there. It's so important for us that this is what I know about real estate, why I'm passionate. I hope that others can pass the word or whatever, because the reason real estate is, many people, most of us will never have that opportunity to to be born into wealth. However, our children can be, and our children's children can be.
That's
It's got to
true.
start somewhere. However, what we can do is make sure that we're making the investments that we need to make and
To
making the
make
sacrifices
that
and
happen.
not spending. We have to stop being consumers.
Oh
We've got
yeah.
to, when we make these investments, we
Okay.
have to invest with not just profit in mind, but the purpose in mind. So my real estate business is for purpose, although the money comes when you do things for a purpose, when you care
Absolutely.
about other people. Because one of those properties that I bought cash, I put a senior in there. So the senior is getting assistance from government assistance. One person, money comes automatically in my account. Don't have to do anything except an annual inspection. That's it.
Beautiful.
And all you do is when that money goes in, leave it there. So when you have to do some maintenance, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. It's
That's
already
that
there.
hard
And
part.
that one person, that one property will give you leverage for the next one, because if you don't have the cash and you don't have the group, I think it's really important. If we can learn to do things as a group, that's where trust comes in. But if do things as a group and everybody puts a little, I learned that in marketing years ago, that you can do a lot when there's a little from a whole lot of people. But it's not easy to get a whole lot of people to trust each other. But that's the way you can able to do it and accomplish it. However, if you can just, once you get that first one, then if you want another one, and then you have the leverage, because you can pull out your down payment from that because you don't even have a mortgage
Yeah. Yeah.
for the
Absolutely.
next one. And then you pay off that. And remember, if I don't have a mortgage, everything that's coming in is, aside from taxes, is gravy. So whatever is coming in, years ago with investors, they were just glad to get $100 and $200 a month profit. If you do it right, my profits average about $700 a month.
Nice.
Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow.
On one
So,
property.
how long have you been doing project management? I mean, property management.
Just 3 years.
Okay.
I did it freely for people that were important to me, but being engaged in it just for the last 3 years. And that's because I saw a need for it. And I wanted my clients to be able to learn something that they were not comfortable about. See,
Okay.
if you get the education, you've got something to offer.
Yeah.
And if you got something different to offer than other people, people will come back to you. So I've got clients that won't make a move without coming to ask me, and they are experts in their fields, they're vice presidents in their fields, but this field they are not familiar with. So we have to make sure. And then I have some who are just that I'm developing. One girl, I let her stay in one of my properties for just, she had a child, and I let her stay in one of my properties for 2 years while she finished school. And then I helped her write a resume, and she applied for a job from the degree. And I always say, they always say, we got the degree. And once we do that, then her income doubled. She went from like $27,000. She ended up just with the degree, with the resume. Oh, we got to take this out. We have to take this out, make it, customize it like this. English is one of my graces too. So I told her, apply. You pick where you want to apply, and then we'll walk through the process. And she got a $60,000 offer, having no experience in logistics.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
But all of
It's
that is integrated in real estate as well, because then it gave her the income. That's how she had the income to be able to invest for 10%.
Yeah, as I sit here listening to you, I just the one thing that crosses my mind is how do we I know you have your channels and your obviously your ministry, but how do we get the word out more, because you're truly phenomenal. But by the way, I mean, we see a
Thank
number
you.
of people these days. These days, everybody's an expert. Nothing against
Oh,
anybody. You got
you
a
know
lot
it,
of
right?
experts out here. But you've been, like you said, just by saying you've been a realtor since the '90s so you've seen ups and downs through
Oh, yeah.
decades, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you, how do people get in touch with you? But that's what's crossing my mind. This sister's phenomenal. We need more people to hear what she's saying, and you're helping to improve people's lives on many levels, like the young lady you just explained.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And that's what
For sure.
generational wealth is. Generational wealth is more than money. But if you don't know what to do with money, you could have all the money coming through your hands that you can ever imagine and not know how to keep it. We have to learn how to reinvest. I'm not going to be political, but somebody benefited with this big dip. And then
Yeah.
it's a good time to buy. All right. But if people had money, we would have been buying too, right? That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the difference.
That's the difference. And we're going to close this gap. That's why I do generational wealth. So generational wealth, for the most part, is education first.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when are we doing, when we going to get this class going? Because I'm extremely interested, and we want to make sure that we get the word out about Miss Olivia Johnson. So what you about to
and no, I was gonna say, and
okay.
I got my I stay on my contractor brothers and sisters, because that's my role in this. Is to help us to uplift each other. So I want whenever we do get them familiar with your system and your teaching and your sessions, I'm gonna grab some of them by the hand and bring them, because I feel like us being able to work with our hands, I always tell them, is a secret sauce. Now, if you figure out how to become an investor, or you become how to get your own property, which is something I've talked to them about often. It's you can still service the public, but now you have your own property you literally have tools in your hands. So,
and that's how you
I think
build.
That's it.
And it seems like your classes is also not only about mindset, about finances, and about investing. It seems like it's like a combination of all of those things. Because
it's the whole journey.
Yeah,
it's the
if
journey.
you don't have the mindset to save the money, don't touch it. Which I do. I can do that. I'm really.
She's ready to.
I'm like, we're not gonna touch this account. We're just gonna put money in there and just let it grow. I don't care if whatever happens. We're not gonna touch it. But you do have to have the mindset, and you really need to have the discipline. So that's not something that everyone has, especially in the world that we live in right now. Like you said, everyone is consumers.
Right.
And that's something that, so I'm really interested in finding out ways that we can get you out here on a bullhorn. If we can do something for not only, not just the contractors, but all the 37,000 people that's in this group. I think if we can what they say, reach one, teach one. I think
That's
that
it.
right there, we can definitely make a difference.
That's how it's done. And the reason I do all these pieces is because to begin the piece and tell someone about how to buy a property, I have very few clients who ever went into foreclosure
Wow.
because I never sell to them even what the bank says they can afford. I sell to them what they're comfortable paying. I just
Yeah.
Yes, one of your questions on here was what was one of your greatest challenges? I don't know that it was a great challenge, but I think it would be relatable. Just in January, I had this deal that was scheduled to close on the 16th, and it had been dragging the investor. It was an investor who rehabbed the property, and he was dragging along because I could tell that he was running out of money because he wouldn't do the repairs that were in the attorney's review. So we're chasing him and chasing him, and then found out 4 days before closing was scheduled that my client opened up a new credit card. Something I tell all of my clients when we go in, don't do anything between now and closing.
Right.
Don't buy anything. Don't put anything. Don't charge
Don't
anything.
do
Don't go
anything.
buy a new car. The day after, you can do exactly what you want. The day after, the hour after, you can. But up until then, you can't do anything. Well, she did, and when she did it, that changed everything. So when it changed it, what I had to do, I had to go back to the lender. I'm honest. I'm always going to walk in integrity. I said, I know what she's going to tell me. Pay it off. She paid. It wasn't even because she couldn't pay it off. They just invited her to it. So she said yes. So she had to pay it off. The lender said, but she has to close by Thursday. Otherwise, her lock expires. And that means she'll have to start everything all over, and she may not qualify because that'll hit the credit. Long story short is, I called that investor. I said, you either get those repairs done, give us something in escrow, give us something to hold back, or she's not going to be able to close, or you're going to lose this client. We all were hustling. We closed Thursday. So my job is from beginning to end to make it happen, because what I learned early in real estate is not how many deals you write, it's how many deals you close.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well,
I love that.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, we thank you. We won't want to know your time is extremely valuable. We truly appreciate you. I can't wait. We got some stuff. We got some talking to do because you got a lot of knowledge, and I would love to learn and share with our community for sure. But what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Well, I am on Facebook under my name. I am also 708-935-1951, 708-935-1951. My number is in my about, so even if there's an 800 number there, it'll forward to me. Easy to find. DM me, call. I always answer because that's the whole purpose.
Beautiful. And
my last question is, where's your like service areas? Are you on the Chicagoland area, Northwest Indiana, East, North, West, South? Where's your office?
Well, because I have been in business so long, it's everywhere. Okay. It's wherever my clients go.
Okay.
So that's what gave me all the experience. I've been as far as Elgin. I've been as far as Gurnee. Now specifically the South, the Chicagoland and the South suburbs, but I've done Oak Park, just everywhere, because after the first-time buyers, I'm not with first-time buyers all the time now. Now I got those who have moved up, got those who have downsized, and got those who are investing. So they're all over. And even some are out of state. So I have done reciprocity, but I also do referrals out of state.
Understood. Repeat customers, that's beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
Repeat customers, right. I'm the realtor for life. I'm your realtor for life.
I love it. That's, man, I love it for sure. Well, we appreciate you, Miss Olivia, and we're here to serve you. You always. Here's another fun fact for everybody is we have group chats for our associations, and we kind of share stuff with each other and collaborate. It's just another way to communicate amongst ourselves. And Miss Olivia always says good morning, and I appreciate that. As you know, I'm an early bird. She loves it, drives her crazy
I see.
sometimes, but I'm joking. I'm
Say
joking.
that. He always say stuff drive me crazy. He don't be driving me crazy. I hate when he say that. I'm an early bird person too. I'm just not a messenger person.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get more involved in messenger.
I'm sorry,
because I'm in like 1,000 messenger chats, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
And
So, but
I love what you're doing now, Danita, because that information, if people will read it, you can learn a lot. Now, we can't trust, we have to be careful as we go with all of the AI and vet everything, but your information is solid.
Thank you. Because I'm like, I only try to put out what I use and what I've learned. I am a full-time student all the time. I'm always looking to learn some new stuff.
Me too.
I'm like, if I'm not learning, I'm not alive. So I have to grow in every aspect. So I'm going to be a lifetime student. So, and this is what my goal and my gift is to share my knowledge, and I want to see everybody win. Because if you win, I'm winning.
That's
so, and whatever knowledge and nuggets you want to have, you want to share, then I'm willing to read and understand and listen. So, yeah. Amen. I'm like, but yeah, I don't mind the. Yeah. Look, y'all. that's just over the years. That's something I use. It drives her crazy. Well. It drives me crazy. When I say that, I just use it as like almost like slang. It doesn't drive her crazy. Me being an early person.
Right.
But I love the fact that we share and it's a positive interchange. So just looking forward. Yes, indeed. But you have so many gems that you were dropping tonight. Please share in our personal group as well as the big Facebook group. But in our personal business association group, let's share in there, and let's try to let's help everybody win. Because everything that you share, I had no idea the amount of knowledge that you have in real estate and investing and property management. I'm like, wow. So the generational wealth, it's definitely something that we should be touching on more.
It's a thing.
It's a topic that
it's a real thing. And it's attainable.
Yeah.
It's attainable. Yes.
Yep. But like I said, that one thing is the finances. So we just got to wrap that up in the mindset. I'm big on mindset. Like you said, manifestation. That is one of my things. I manifest everything. I'm like, this is what we doing this month. And you got to make it happen. So, but we'll talk, because me and you, I feel like this is going to be
That's right. That's right. We're going to be a vibe. That's right.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you, Miss Olivia. And we'll share all of your contact methods and everything. When this video will live in the group, and then we always convert it over to YouTube so it'll live forever. So we'll put all of your contact methods on there, and we appreciate you. We truly do. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. Take care now. Let us know if you need anything.
Will do. Likewise. Talk to you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.